Have you ever noticed people who quietly step back from everyone, friends, family, even lovers, without explanation, without drama, without anger? People who disappear from your life, not because they hate it, not because they are broken, but because they are moving towards something far deeper, far more intimate than anything the world can offer. At first it seems mysterious, even unsettling. How could someone walk away when connection is available, when love is possible, when approval is waiting? And yet those who choose this path are not lost. They are not escaping. They are waking. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." Those who walk away are awake. They have begun the most difficult journey anyone can take, the journey inward. They are stepping away from the noise, the expectations, the shallow comfort of external validation, and moving toward the vast, quiet, often terrifying landscape of themselves. When someone walks away, do not mistake it for loneliness. Do not assume they are cold or heartless. They are not reacting to the world. They are responding to themselves. They are asking questions that few dare to ask. Who am I when I am not performing for others? What do I truly value? What life am I willing to live, even if no one else approves? There is a quiet power in walking away. A presence that does not shout, does not demand, does not explain. It is power born from clarity. And it is terrifying to those who rely on dependence, fear, or control, because it reminds them of something they have long avoided, their own incomplete understanding of themselves. Those who walk away are not weak. They are not fleeing. They are strong enough to stand alone. They are brave enough to face the unknown. And perhaps most importantly, they are aware that being alone is not emptiness. It is a sanctuary where they discover their own worth, their own essence, and their own voice. Have you ever felt the pull to step back, to withdraw, to simply breathe in silence while the world demands noise? Perhaps you already know what it means to walk away. Perhaps you already understand that some departures are not losses, they are awakenings. Walking away is never impulsive. It is not a whim, a reaction, or a form of surrender. Those who step back are often people who have faced themselves in ways most avoid. They have walked through darkness, wandered in the corridors of their own fear, and confronted the parts of themselves they once denied. Carl Jung said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Those who withdraw from the world are not avoiding life. They are examining it through the most honest lens possible, themselves. They are confronting the shadow. The shadow is everything we reject, everything we hide, everything we fear exists within us. It is the part of us that whispers doubts, harbors pain, and keeps secrets too painful to reveal. Most people spend a lifetime trying to bury it under distraction, under approval, under busyness, under love that is conditional and shallow. But those who walk away do the opposite. They face the shadow head-on. They allow themselves to feel the discomfort, to meet the fears they've been running from, to understand the wounds they carry. And in that confrontation, something extraordinary begins to happen. They stop being defined by what they fear or what others demand of them. Some have faced betrayal. Some have loved too deeply, given too much, and found that the world often cannot return in kind. Some have been abandoned or misunderstood, and the pain of repeating the same cycles becomes unbearable. And yet this retreat is not despair. It is a declaration of self-possession. Imagine standing before a mirror that reflects not just your face, but your entire history. Every mistake, every scar, every unspoken longing. Most people avert their gaze. Most people distract themselves with noise. But those who walk away stare. They examine every corner of their being. They ask the questions that the world does not dare to ask. Why do I repeat this pattern? Why do I give what is not returned? What is mine to hold and what is mine to release? Walking away is a form of pruning a garden. You remove what chokes the flowers. You cut away the vines that suffocate growth. The act is painful. The roots run deep. And yet, in this necessary pain, there is liberation. They discover what is essential. They discover what cannot be negotiated. They discover the value of their own presence. There is a profound courage in this. Because the world often sees withdrawal as weakness, as rejection, as coldness. But in truth, it is the most powerful act a person can take, to step back, to face the self, to integrate shadow into awareness, and to return to life stronger, clearer, and whole. Those who walk away are not escaping reality, they are mastering it. They are learning that the first love, the first loyalty, the first commitment must always be to themselves. And it is in this commitment that they begin to awaken, slowly, profoundly, irreversibly. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to face your shadow without fear? To confront the parts of yourself you've avoided for years, for decades, for lifetimes? Perhaps walking away is not a loss. It is the first step toward freedom. When someone walks away, they are not fleeing the world. They are seeking something far more profound, the sanctuary of silence. This is a place where the soul can breathe, where the mind can settle, where the heart can learn its own rhythm without interruption. The world tells us that connection is everything, that being surrounded, being liked, being validated is proof of our worth. And yet those who step away understand something deeper, that true connection begins within. It is not the laughter of crowds, the touch of strangers, or the attention of others that fills the void. It is the quiet recognition of oneself. Have you ever sat in a room with no sound, no distractions, and felt the stillness pressing against your skin? At first it feels uncomfortable. At first it feels lonely. But slowly you begin to hear the whispers of your own soul. You begin to notice the desires, the fears, the dreams that have been buried under obligation and noise. You begin to understand that the self is not something to be found in others. It is something to be uncovered, layer by layer, in silence. Carl Jung taught that, in all chaos there is a cosmos, in all disorder a secret order. Those who withdraw discover this order. They learn that beneath the chaos of life, beneath the judgments, the expectations, the endless comparisons, there is a quiet structure, a rhythm, a logic that belongs only to them. And it is in this silence that transformation occurs. The people who walk away are often misunderstood. To those who remain in constant social activity, their absence feels like rejection. To those who rely on the energy of others to define themselves, their withdrawal feels threatening. But in truth, those who retreat are not taking from the world, they are returning to themselves. They are honoring a truth that cannot be compromised. The self cannot flourish in a garden overrun by weeds of distraction, expectation, or toxicity. This sanctuary of silence is not empty. It is fertile. It is alive. Here, memories can settle, grief can be honored, dreams can stretch their roots into the mind, and clarity can blossom like a flower in early spring. Here, the person learns to stand alone without fear, to feel complete without constant affirmation, to hold themselves with a tenderness often reserved for others. And yet this silence is also a mirror. It reflects back everything that has been ignored. Childhood wounds, unspoken fears, attachments disguised as love, all come to the surface. Those who walk away do not turn from this reflection. They sit with it, they study it, and slowly they begin to integrate it. This is the work Jung described as individuation, the process of becoming fully who you are, acknowledging both the light and the dark within you, without denial, without compromise. It is in this sanctuary that they discover the true nature of their strength. They learn that walking away is not cowardice, it is courage. They learn that detachment is not bitterness, it is discernment. They learn that being alone does not diminish them, it magnifies their essence. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to truly honor your own presence? To let go of the need to perform, to please, to be seen, and instead simply be? Perhaps walking away is not a loss, it is a sacred reclamation of self. Perhaps it is in this silence that the seeds of wholeness are planted, waiting to grow into a life of depth, authenticity, and freedom. Walking away is not a single decision. It is a series of choices, each one quieter, yet heavier than the last. Each step requires courage, the kind of courage that trembles in the chest, yet moves forward anyway. The kind of courage that does not rely on applause or approval, that does not ask for validation, that does not pause for permission. Carl Jung once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes." The people who step away awaken not by leaving the world behind, but by facing what remains inside them. It is terrifying, this act of release. To let go of relationships that no longer serve, to release expectations that suffocate, to abandon the safety of familiarity, even when that familiarity has caused pain, betrayal, or stagnation. And yet in this release they find freedom. They find the truth of their own rhythm. They find a peace that is quiet but unshakable. Imagine holding a bird in your hands. At first it struggles. You fear losing it. You clutch tighter. And yet, the moment you open your hands, the bird does not flee. It soars. So it is with life, with love, with connection. When you let go of what does not nurture you, you make space for what resonates with your soul. Those who walk away often discover that the world does not collapse in their absence. People continue, obligations persist, life moves forward. And in this realization, a profound truth emerges. You are never defined by how others respond to your choices, only by the integrity with which you make them. Letting go is also a confrontation with fear. Fear of judgment, fear of loneliness, fear of making a mistake, fear of being misunderstood. Most people are trapped by these fears, unable to move without the comfort of approval or reassurance. But those who walk away embrace the discomfort, knowing that growth is inseparable from courage. They also learn an even deeper truth. Not all love is meant to remain. Not all connections are meant to last. Some relationships, some friendships, some attachments are lessons disguised as companionship. To hold on to them beyond their purpose is to deny the self. To release them is to honor the self. Have you ever felt the pain of letting go, yet known that it was the right thing to do? That the absence was not emptiness, but clarity. That stepping away was not failure, but awakening. Perhaps this is why walking away is so often misunderstood. The world sees departure as loss, when in reality it is a reclamation of presence, a cultivation of depth, a commitment to authenticity. And in this space, the person begins to flourish. They learn that the courage to let go is inseparable from the courage to receive, to accept life as it is, without clinging to illusions or performing for others. They begin to live in alignment with themselves. They stop asking permission. They stop explaining. They simply are, and in that being they are whole. The courage to let go is not dramatic. It does not shout. It does not demand. It whispers, "I choose myself. I honor my own rhythm. I step into the depth that others may fear to explore." And in that whisper, there is a power that cannot be ignored, a presence that cannot be diminished, a clarity that cannot be stolen. Those who walk away do so not to escape life, but to discover life in its rawest, truest form. In stepping back, they step forward into a world that is often ignored, the world within themselves. It is here, in the quiet corridors of the soul, that they begin the most profound work: self-discovery. Carl Jung said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." Self-discovery is not instantaneous. It is not a destination. It is a journey of peeling back layers, of stripping away illusions, of confronting truths that society, culture, and even loved ones have attempted to bury. Those who walk away confront uncomfortable questions. Who am I without the reflection of others? What do I truly want beyond obligation, beyond expectation, beyond fear? What parts of me have I neglected in the pursuit of acceptance or love? These questions are not easy. They are not safe. They demand honesty, courage, and vulnerability. Many people mistake this process for selfishness. They label those who retreat as cold, distant, or disconnected, but nothing could be further from the truth. Self-discovery is not an act of isolation, it is an act of integration. By turning inward, they confront their shadows, acknowledge their wounds, embrace their strengths, and reconcile the contradictions within themselves. Imagine a river carving its way through mountains over centuries. At times, the water must retreat, pool, and gather strength before it can continue its flow. So it is with self-discovery. Those who walk away pause, they reflect, they confront, and they return. Not broken, but whole, with clarity and depth that was previously impossible. In this sanctuary of reflection, they begin to recognize patterns, cycles, and truths that once eluded them. Childhood wounds, familial expectations, past betrayals, and societal pressures, all are observed, understood, and integrated. They begin to see that what was once perceived as failure was actually preparation. What felt like limitation was actually guidance, and what felt like loneliness was actually awakening. Through this process, they cultivate discernment. They learn to differentiate between connection that nourishes and connection that depletes. They learn to honor their own needs, boundaries, and rhythms. And most importantly, they learn that their worth is inherent, not conditional. This journey is also deeply empowering. The act of self-discovery transforms fear into strength, confusion into clarity, longing into presence. Those who walk away discover that they are not defined by what they have lost, but by what they have reclaimed. They understand that the greatest relationship they can ever have is with themselves, and from this foundation, all other relationships are redefined, not out of necessity, but out of choice. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to meet yourself fully? To stand in front of your own reflection, unafraid of what you might see, and to recognize not just your scars, but your wisdom, not just your mistakes, but your growth, not just your shadow, but your light. This is the power of self-discovery. And in that power lies a secret that the world often fears. Those who walk away cannot be controlled, manipulated, or diminished. They have faced themselves and found clarity, and that clarity radiates outward, subtly, irresistibly, and permanently. They do not need approval, they do not crave attention, and they do not bend to the expectations of others. They simply are. The power of self-discovery is not loud. It does not demand recognition. It is a quiet revolution, a deep, resonant truth that unfolds in the hearts of those who dare to step away. And when they return to life, they are no longer the same. They are whole, awake, and unshakable. Those who walk away do not simply vanish from the world, they arrive in themselves. They awaken to a presence that cannot be ignored, a presence that flows quietly but powerfully, like sunlight filtering through an ancient forest. This awakening is not about performing, impressing, or competing. It is about existing fully, without compromise. Carl Jung taught that one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The awakening of presence comes from this very confrontation with darkness. It is the realization that every wound, every shadow, every failure has been a teacher. And in facing them, those who walk away develop an inner gravity, a resonance that attracts not through need, but through authenticity. Presence is not learned, it is remembered. It is the rediscovery of a part of oneself that had always existed but had been silenced by fear, expectation, and distraction. Those who step away from the noise of the world find that their own rhythm is enough. They do not need to fill silences with chatter, or spaces with company. They simply are, and in that being, they command attention without demanding it. The world often misunderstands this presence. To those still chasing approval, it feels alien, uncomfortable, even threatening. People mistake calm for indifference, solitude for emptiness, and boundaries for arrogance. But in truth, the awakened presence is a reflection of wholeness. It shows that life does not need to be fragmented, and that love, connection, and fulfillment do not come from others. They come from the depth of one's own being. Have you ever noticed how some people simply fill a room without speaking? How some individuals draw attention not through noise, but through the weight of their quiet confidence? That is the awakening of presence. It is subtle yet undeniable, a force that cannot be replicated or imitated, a proof of self-mastery that radiates from within. Those who have walked away understand the importance of boundaries, of discernment, of choosing what to let into their world. They know that not every interaction is nourishing, not every relationship is healthy, and not every invitation serves their growth. They have learned to say no without apology, to withdraw without guilt, and to prioritize their inner world without compromise. And in doing so, they awaken others. Their presence becomes a mirror, reflecting back what is authentic and what is false. It challenges those who cling to illusions, who seek validation, who fear solitude. It asks a question silently but profoundly. Who are you when no one is watching? This awakening is both liberation and responsibility. It is freedom from the chains of expectation, yet it comes with the weight of self-knowledge. Those who walk away cannot feign ignorance, they cannot pretend. Their presence demands integrity, depth, and honesty, not just from themselves, but from everyone around them. Have you ever wondered why some people inspire awe and respect, while others merely demand attention? The difference lies not in achievement, wealth, or status, but in the consciousness of presence. Walking away cultivates this awareness. Retreating is not absence, it is preparation, reflection, and refinement. It is the act of becoming fully awake, fully visible to oneself, and therefore fully capable of engaging with the world without losing oneself. In this awakening, life takes on new meaning. Conversations become richer, connections become deeper, and moments are no longer wasted on superficiality. Those who step away learn to live intentionally, to speak deliberately, and to choose their actions with awareness. They do not drift, they navigate. They do not follow, they lead, first themselves, then by example the world around them. Walking away is not permanent. It is a pause, a necessary retreat, a sacred interval in which the self can be reclaimed. And after this journey inward comes the return, a return to the world, but not as before. Those who return are transformed, whole, and aware. They no longer engage from fear, need, or obligation. They engage from clarity, choice, and authenticity. Carl Jung said, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." The return is the living proof of this principle. They are not defined by the attachments they left behind, the relationships they refused, or the expectations they ignored. They are defined by the integration of their inner world with the outer, by the consciousness they have cultivated in solitude, and by the strength that comes from facing themselves without compromise. The world may still misunderstand them. Friends, family, colleagues, and acquaintances might label their transformation as aloofness, arrogance, or unpredictability. Yet those who have walked away have learned a secret that few ever grasp. Other people's opinions do not determine one's worth or direction. Presence, integrity, and authenticity are far stronger than approval or judgment. Returning to the world is not a surrender. It is a deliberate participation. The person who once walked away now engages with intention. They invest in relationships that honor their depth, they pursue work that reflects their values, and they surround themselves with experiences that cultivate growth rather than distract from it. Consider the metaphor of a phoenix. In withdrawal, the fire burns. In silence, ashes settle. And in return, from the ashes emerges not the same bird, but one reborn, stronger, more vibrant, and fiercely independent. Walking away is the burning. The sanctuary of silence is the ashes. And the return is the rise, majestic and inevitable. They return with discernment, understanding the difference between what is essential and what is superficial. They recognize that not all relationships are equal, that not all conversations are nourishing, and that not all paths align with their purpose. And they act accordingly, choosing, stepping forward, and letting go of what no longer serves. This return is also transformative for others. People who witness it cannot help but reflect. They see the clarity in someone who has faced themselves, the confidence of someone who no longer seeks external validation, the quiet power of someone who has embraced both shadow and light. In observing this, others are subtly challenged. What would it take for me to claim this same integrity? there is also a sacred rhythm in this return. It is neither hurried nor hesitant. It is deliberate, paced, and grounded. Those who have walked away no longer rush to fill empty spaces or appease unseen expectations. They move through life with intentional steps, conscious choices, and unwavering alignment with their inner truth. And yet they remain humble. The journey inward has taught them that growth is ongoing, that mastery is never complete, and that life's lessons are endless. They do not claim perfection, nor demand it from others. Instead, they offer presence, understanding, and respect for themselves and for the world they have re-entered. Perhaps the greatest gift of returning is the ability to love without losing oneself. Relationships are no longer acts of dependency, compromise, or fear. They become alliances of consciousness, reciprocity, and mutual respect. Those who once walked away now engage from wholeness, not lack, from clarity, not confusion, from awareness, not habit. Have you ever noticed how some people seem unshakable in the face of chaos? How they move through life with calm, measured presence, yet inspire deep admiration and even fear. This is the effect of those who have walked away and returned. They are awake. They are integrated. They are aware of their own worth and the power of presence, and they no longer allow anyone or anything to diminish it. The act of walking away is never truly isolated. It leaves ripples. It leaves lessons. It leaves a legacy, not always visible but profoundly felt. Those who walk away do not simply vanish, they inspire quietly, without fanfare. Their legacy is a testament to the courage of self-respect, the power of presence, and the necessity of integrity. Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." Walking away is the ultimate embodiment of this wisdom. It is a conscious declaration that one will no longer be defined by circumstance, expectation, or fear. It is the act of reclaiming one's story, rewriting the narrative, and asserting the right to live fully, freely, and authentically. The legacy manifests first within. Those who walk away teach themselves what is possible. They demonstrate that solitude is not absence, it is a laboratory for self-mastery, reflection, and growth. They show that stepping back can be more courageous than stepping forward. They prove that clarity, purpose, and presence come not from what others give, but from what one cultivates inside. Externally, their impact is subtle but undeniable. People who observe them cannot help but question their own lives. Am I living authentically? Am I honoring my own needs, my own rhythms, my own truth? In this way, walking away becomes a mirror for others, reflecting both the limitations of conformity and the possibilities of freedom. There is also a sacred generosity in walking away. It is not selfishness, it is stewardship. By stepping out of relationships, patterns, or situations that no longer serve their growth, they create space for life to flourish, for themselves and for others. They show that it is possible to leave without destruction, to detach without bitterness, and to honor both oneself and the world in the process. The legacy of walking away is also deeply transformational. Those who have taken this path often emerge as teachers, leaders, or guides, not by title, but by example. Their lives demonstrate that courage is not always visible, that power is not always loud, and that freedom is not always claimed in dramatic gestures. The world begins to recognize a new archetype, the conscious individual who acts from depth, clarity, and integrity. Jung described the process of individuation as the journey toward becoming fully oneself, integrating shadow and light, chaos and order, fear and courage. Those who walk away embody this journey. Their lives become living proof that wholeness is possible, that presence is powerful, and that love, true love, begins with oneself. Perhaps the most enduring lesson is the subtle yet profound understanding that walking away is not failure. It is a reclamation, a realignment, a rebirth. Every step taken in self-honor, every boundary drawn with courage, every absence chosen in awareness, is a step toward personal sovereignty and spiritual freedom. The legacy extends even further, into the unseen. It resides in the quiet thoughts of those inspired by the example, in the gentle recognition of the value of solitude, in the awakening of consciousness in those who witness the clarity of presence. It is a ripple that spreads quietly but persistently, touching lives, altering perspectives, and encouraging others to embrace the courage to honor themselves. To those watching, perhaps you recognize this pattern in your own life. Perhaps you see the call to step back, to reclaim your energy, to honor your own truth. Walking away is not a rejection of the world. It is a return to the self, a preparation to engage with the world from a place of wholeness, integrity, and awareness. And so, the person who walks away leaves behind a legacy that cannot be stolen, diminished, or ignored. It is a legacy of courage, wisdom, and presence. It is a legacy that quietly demands respect, not through intimidation, but through the undeniable truth of someone who has faced themselves, embraced their shadow, and emerged whole. As Jung might say, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Walking away is one of the most profound acts in the pursuit of that privilege. It is an assertion of self, a declaration of autonomy, and a testament to the timeless wisdom that freedom and wholeness begin within. So perhaps now, when you see someone walking away, or when you feel the call to step back yourself, you may understand. It is not absence. It is presence rediscovered. It is not loss. It is integration achieved. It is not weakness. It is courage embodied. The world may misunderstand. Critics may judge. Friends may question. And yet, those who have walked away continue, quietly, deliberately, and authentically, living, growing, and inspiring, leaving behind a legacy that is eternal, profound, and irreducible, the legacy of honoring oneself above all else.